Shalom, and welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Hook. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachah Kodash, and welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Hook. I'd like to start off by saying who can accept the gospel, and pretty much this is a continuation from the lesson earlier about the gospel, which the word gospel means good news, which means there's a message and good news to be given to someone. And we explained in the last one that this good news is only to the nation of Israel, which were the only ones that received the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. So in this lesson, we're going to continue on with that same message, but more on the who can accept that. Because even though we know that the message, those of us that are awoke, know that the message is only to Israel, we also know that the message is not to every Israelite at this time, because only the elect of the nation of Israel will receive it. So let's go to Romans 10 and 14. It says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? Because in order for Jake to really call on the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, they got to call on, first of all, his proper name, his son's proper name. They got to know who they are. They got to know the message. Because if they don't know the message, how can they testify? How can you give a testimony of something you're not clear on? And these wacky-tacky Christians are giving a testimony of something that they're not clear about, which was given to them by their enemy that pretty much had them in a trick bag, So how can you turn around and try to teach anyone or try to take up the mantle and preach this gospel when you don't even know what the gospel is all about? And if you do have an inkling of what the gospel is about, as far as the message concerned with the gospel, you don't know who it's to. You think it's for everybody, for the whole world, and you use scriptures that are set up as stumbling blocks to teach this warped gospel that you're teaching, which is another gospel, as the Apostle Paul preached and spoke of. And you know what happens if you preach another gospel? You're going to be accursed. So it says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? So you have to have preachers, you have to have teachers, you have to have prophets, because the word preacher and prophet are synonymous. So you have to have somebody that's inspired by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai to teach these things. Now let's go real quick to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So the Lord said he was going to give us the pastors, the preachers, the teachers, the prophets. So you can't, first of all, you have to know who you're praying to, what the message is, and you have to have been taught by a messenger that's sent by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It says, and how shall they preach? So how can you take up the mantle of preaching and go out there and teach the word, except they be sent? And if you're not sent, what did the Lord say? They be blind leaders of the blind, leave them alone, for they shall both fall in the ditch. If this house isn't built by the Lord, it's going to come to nothing. It's being built. Those different houses you see out there of these religions, they're being built in vain. They're being built with what the scriptures call untempered mortar. And that untempered mortar is not going to stand. It's not going to hold. It may look pretty on the outside, but if it's not structurally sound, what's going to happen? It's going to fall apart because the foundation is not sure. The foundation is sand, which is these different religions are comparable to sand. These different ideologies are comparable to sand. They're not built upon the foundation, which is that cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai. You see? So they don't have the foundation at the bottom of the building to hold it up. So what happens when your foundation is not secure and safe? It falls apart. It says, as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace. Now, what is this gospel of peace, and why did good news of peace have to take place? Well, let's go real quick back to the book of Jeremiah. I believe that's the 11th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Just bear with me 1 second, or it might be the 16th chapter. Nope. So let's try Jeremiah 16. Let's see. Here we go. Jeremiah 16:5. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go lament nor bemoan them, for I have taken away my peace from this people. What people? The Israelites, saith the Lord, even loving kindness and mercies. Those tender mercies of David, the Lord took them away from the nation of Israel. So this message is to the nation of Israel. The peace was taken away from the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So when we dealing with the gospel of peace, which the Apostle Paul is speaking of, that we preach, we're preaching the gospel of peace to those whom peace was taken away from, the nation of Israel. See, so if you're going to teach the message, you got to understand what the message is and who the message was sent to. Because if you have a messenger is sending a message to a particular individual. That's why you had kings that would take and write certain decrees or orders or laws, and they would stamp it with their what? With their signet, and say, look, this is going to be sent to such and such, Lord such and such, and this person or that person, or this region or that region. So if you're going to teach the message, which is the gospel, which is the good news, you got to know who the message is to. It says, and bring glad tidings of good things. Why? Because what does it benefit someone to receive good news if they have everything? If you're trying to tell somebody, look, you're going to be delivered out of the condition that you're in, but this person is rich, they have no need of anything. What do they need to be saved from? What nation on the planet Earth needs more salvation than the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians? None. No other nation. All right. It says, let's see. Just bear with me 1 second. It says, but they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, Lord, who hath believed our report? Now, in that statement right there that the apostle made, he pretty much is saying what the crux of the gospel is, or who is the gospel? Yahushua. For who has believed our report? Let's go to Isaiah 53:1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? And when we read through Isaiah 53, this is the blueprint, so to speak, of the gospel, the good news, which is Yahushua. And he is the one that was going to shed his blood in order to seal this document, this covenant, this agreement. And that was only given to the nation of Israel, no matter how you slice it. To go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. This is out of his own mouth, out of the mouth of the Messiah. We go to the red letter edition, right? And what do we have? Letters in red speaking about Yahushua and what he said. So Matthew 10:5, these 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Do not teach any of these nations. Why? Because this gospel, this good news, is not to the nations. And the gospel was first to be taught to the nation of Israel, those that knew that they were Israelites. You see? And that's the truth. The first ones to receive it was what? The tribe of Judah, and the ones that knew that they were Israelites. Then later on would be the Israelite foreigners that would be brought back into the fold. And this is where the confusion comes in. Because they're thinking that when it speaks about the Gentiles that are receiving salvation, it's talking about all nations. And no, that's not the case. It's those Gentiles are the Israelite foreigners. And Lord's will, there'll be a third lesson on that, if the Spirit wills and the Spirit allows. So he said, don't go to the Gentiles, don't go into any city of the Samaritans, but go rather, instead of going to the heathen or the Samaritans, because you had a lot of heathen in Samaria, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why? Because the Israelites were lost. Even the ones that knew that they were Israelites. But going even further beyond that, the ones that lost their way, period, which were deemed uncircumcision by the Jews, which were other Israelites that were deemed, another word for it would be, there's another word for it, I can't think, apostate. They would be deemed apostates. And as you go preach preach what? This gospel, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Why? Because that is the good news. The kingdom of heaven is at hand to who? To the Israelites. This is why heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils, freely you have received, freely give. And this is why the very first thing, one of the very first things that the apostles asked Yahushua when he rose was Acts 1:6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Because there has to be a restoration. Because we were promised through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We received the promise. Moses led us as far as the Lord allowed. Joshua, Caleb took the helm. They led us into the promised land. Jake took their lands. Jeshua waxed fat and kicked. We had the kingdom that the Lord promised us. So we lost the kingdom. So now what has to happen? It has to be restored again. So if you will thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel. Let's go to the word restore. Restore again. Apokathestemi. Apokathestemi. To restore to its former state. So if you restore something to its former state, let's look up this term, former state. What does it mean? Let's type in, what does it mean? What does it mean by former state? Former state meaning. Let's see what this says. Former is used to describe someone who used to have a particular job, position, or role, but no longer has it. So if you're going to restore the kingdom again to Israel, it's because they lost it. And this is the part of the good news, because the peace is being brought again. It says former is used to refer to countries which no longer exist or whose boundaries have changed. But this is the main point. Former is used to describe someone who used to have a particular job, position, or role, but no longer has it. So now it has to be restored. And that's what we're reading here under restoration, to restore to its former state, to be in its former state. So what is that? To have Israel be in the kingdom again. So the apostles are asking if the Lord is going to redeem or restore again the kingdom to Israel. Why? Because that was the gospel. This is what they're teaching. And it's not to all nations, because all nations did not have the kingdom. So all nations cannot be restored back the kingdom. All nations cannot be reconciled. All nations cannot receive the gospel of reconciliation, because they were never a part of the pie in the beginning. You can't receive, or you can't be a part of something you were never a part of in the beginning, from the get-go. And they're not going to stop, because I was going to say stop the nonsense, stop teaching that garbage, but they're not going to stop teaching that, because that's something that's ingrained and embedded in them. You know, and they're going to keep teaching that, but we're going to keep teaching the truth. All right, so now let's go back. It says, let's read that again. And how shall, Salakia, but they have not obeyed all, you know what, let's go back to Isaiah 53. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? So we're finding out that that arm of the Lord is Yahushua. That's who the gospel of the good news is all about. Let's go from there to 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 10, just straight to the point. But is now, matter of fact, 2 Timothy 1 and 8. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel, according to the power of the Most High. Why? Because the affliction of the gospel leads to everlasting life. You know, this is a part of dealing with it. The scriptures say that he that has suffered in the flesh has what? Ceased from sin, which is dealing with Yahushua, you know, and then ultimately it passes on to us. It says, who have saved us and called us with an holy calling. So this is a holy calling. That's why the name of this lesson is, who can accept the gospel? Well, the quick answer to that is only the ones that were called. Or should I say only the ones that were given this in the beginning. You see? Who have saved us and called us with an holy calling. Because many are called, but few are chosen. So only the elect of the nation of Israel can receive this. So if all of Israel can receive it, how in the hell can all nations receive it? Not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was given us in Yahushua HaMashiach before the world began. So this, what we have, is a predestination before the world even began. That's why when you hear people say, well, I went to church the other day and girl, the pastor, he preached a sermon. He preached that sermon so good that I gave my life over to Jesus. First of all, you don't give your life to the Lord. The Lord chooses you. If the Most High draws you, if the Most High gave you to him. And if you notice that a lot of Israelites that are in these plantation Christianity churches are all women. Because that plantation Christianity doctrine that's being taught is a woman philosophy. It's a Queen of Heaven philosophy. And that's why the majority of people that it caters to are these women. Look in these churches. You don't see a lot of, you see Jake men, but a lot of them are homosexuals, in the closet homosexuals, outwardly homosexuals, but the majority are women. And the vibration in these churches is a womanly vibration. Right, and I had wrote something down earlier. It says, in the churches, they give you feel-good speeches, not true speeches. That feel-good speech doesn't always mean that it's right. In the churches, they give you the feel-good speeches, not those true speeches. And that's why it really caters to women. Effeminate men, homosexual men. That's who it caters to. And that's why the majority of people that's in these churches are women. And if they are men, they're effeminate men. And if the pastor is not effeminate, sometimes he's bisexual, or he's just there because he, is that serpent that sees potential in making money off of that situation. So anyway, let's read that again. Who have saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, because this goes back to the purpose and grace of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai, because the counsel of the Lord, or the counsel of Yahweh, that's what's going to stand, which was given us. It's a gift in Yahushua HaMashiach before the world began. So these reservations were given before the world was even established. It says, but is now made manifest by the appearing of our Savior Yahushua HaMashiach. So why was it made manifest? By his appearing? Because he is the gospel. He is the embodiment of the gospel. He is the one that the Most High sent to bring the message, that gospel of peace, that gospel of reconciliation, to bring back the nation of Israel back to the Most High, to bring that peace, to bring in that everlasting righteousness between the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and the nation of Israel, Yasha Allah, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It says, who have abolished death. See, so Yahushua abolished death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel. So Yahushua is that gospel. That's what we read in Isaiah 53. I'll read it again. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Who is that arm of the Lord? Yahushua. So who can accept the gospel? Only the ones that the Lord, the Most High, draws into this. Because this, contrary to popular belief, is a spiritual calling. This is something that man can't just come to you and break it down to you and explain it to you if you are not a part of it. Let's go real quick to Matthew 16. Let's go to Matthew 16 and and 13. When Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. Right? He saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the anointed, the Son of the living power. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. So this is not something that can be revealed to anyone, you know. That's why years ago when we were novices, you know, in the truth, you know, we're trying to teach everybody. But after a while, you become wise. You learn when to speak and when not to speak. You learn to pick your shots. You're not just throwing any just punches in the air, like the Apostle Paul said. I'm not beating at the air when I'm teaching this. You know, in so many words, you learn how to pick your shots. You become seasoned. You're able to see better in the ring. You know, you see the punches coming. You can duck the punches. You can weave, you know, bob and weave away from the punches. And you could throw counter punches. Or you could throw, you know, the right combinations in the ring. You know, and this comes with experience. So this is St. John 3 and 27. It says, John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except to be given him from heaven. So this has to come down from heaven, because this is the place where this knowledge is stored. This is the place where this knowledge is coming from. That's where the inspiration is coming from the throne of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakodash. All right, so now let's go to Revelation 14 and 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion. Who is the lamb? Yahweh Shai. Who's the Mount Zion? The Israelites, beginning with the governing body, which is the 144,000. And with him, 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads, which, when you go to different translations, is the Most High's name and Yahweh Shai's name written in their foreheads. So the mountain of Zion represents the people of Zion, the top government. Yahweh Shai being the top, the 144,000 being those governors, so to speak, over the nation of Israel, right? And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as a voice of great thunders. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And what does this voice represent? Those harps harping with their harp. It represents a lovely song, this music where we're singing. The script, the things that we're singing down here on the earth. This song that's being sung. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne. Why? Because all those other songs have been already sung. Plantation Christianity, Islam, you know, Egyptology, the Moorish science, and all them different 5%er, and all those other different philosophies and religions, Roman Catholic Church, all of that song has been sung. But this song hasn't been sung. This is the new song. And if you inspect all of these different religions out here and their messages to the whole world, we're the only ones that teach different. We're the only ones that teach exclusivity. We're the only ones that teach that it's only for the nation of Israel, only for one nation, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and wherever Israel may be scattered, whatever they look like. It says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. This is a message. These are they which were not defiled with women, meaning these different philosophies, plantation Christianity, and every philosophy that stems from that, and other philosophies outside of that. It says, for they are virgins, meaning that they are untouched by these philosophies. I have reserved 7,000 men that are not bowed the knee to Baal, which is what the Lord said. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. So no matter what, they follow the Lamb wherever the Lamb goes. They follow his voice. My sheep hear my voice and they follow me. It says, these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. Right? And in their mouth is found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. Why? Because they hold the everlasting gospel. Now, how is this gospel given? Well, let's read on. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven. So there's an angel that's flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. So the Most High is giving this angel this gospel to spread it out abroad upon the men that are supposed to receive it, the teachers, the prophets, apostles and teachers, and men that are to teach this word to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Why? Because the nation of Israel is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. The elect are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So this angel is the one going around giving the sense, to those that are to receive this message. And the Lord has the angels coming down ministering to the ones that are to receive salvation and allowing the understanding of the gospel to enter into their mind, to accept it, to be sealed by it. Why? Because they are the elect. It says, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. So we're to worship Yahweh Bashem El Shai because he's the one that's given this gospel of peace to preach, that opened up our minds to accept it, to teach it. And we all pray fervently that we can maintain to the end. Because truly, in maintaining to the end, giving diligence unto the end, will make our calling and election sure. All right, now, let's go from there. Let me just scroll this up right there. Let's go from there. Oh, you know what? Now, let me scroll back. All right, so let's go from there to the book of... Just bear me 1 second. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke chapter 1. Luke chapter 1. And we're going to go straight to the point. In verse 19. And the angel, this is an angel. You know the angel is them? It's an inside joke. And the angel answered, and the angel answering said unto him, this is dealing with the angel speaking to Zacharias, which was John the Baptist's father. And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel, Gabriel Allah, warrior of the power, that stand in the presence of the Most High, Yahweh, and am sent to speak unto thee and to show thee these glad tidings. What are the glad tidings? The gospel. So the angels bring this message. The angels them bring the glad tidings. And what is that? Euangelizo, which is a variation of euangelion, which EU is good, and then angelos is message, messenger, angel. So the good message or the good angel, the good messenger or the good message, glad tidings, is given to who? To the nation of Israel, but only the elect of the nation of Israel. And the angels carry that message to give to the men that the Lord hath chosen. That's heavy, man. All right, so now from there, let's go to the book of 1 Peter, the 1st chapter, and the 10th verse. It says, of which salvation, matter of fact, 1 and 9, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your soul. So when does salvation come? At the end. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. No one is saved on the planet. You have those that are sealed, that will be saved, but we don't know who they are. So that's why the Apostle Peter said, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. So receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you. What's the grace? Yahweh Shai, the gospel. The main focus of the gospel is around Yahweh Shai. It says, searching what or what manner of time the spirit of Yahweh Shai which was in them did signify. So the spirit of Yahweh Shai has been in the apostles, in the spirit of the prophets. And when and how long have the prophets been on the earth? Since the foundation of the earth. So before Yahweh Shai even came on the earth to sacrifice himself as himself, Yahushua, the spirit of him was always in the prophets from the beginning of time, even until now. When it testified beforehand the sufferings of Yahushua, which we read, or which you could read in the Isaiah 53, and the glory that should follow, because that is the ultimate. When Yahushua suffered, shed his blood, that sealed the testament. Now what comes next is the reconciliation, or the prize, the reward. It says, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven. So this gospel has to be sent down from heaven. And if you're not one of the individuals that are to receive it, guess what? You're not going to get it. That's why it's a waste of time trying to argue back and forth with somebody that's in that plantation Christianity spirit. If you don't, you could clearly see that they're not getting it. But you know why some of these guys do it? Some of them do it, for the sake of edification. You could use it, for edification on the camera, so people know how to deal, with, when certain questions come up, because that's how we all learn. That's cool. If that's noble, because they're thinking about the sheep and feeding the sheep and how to deal with these individuals and their questions. But some guys are doing it because, watch how I destroy this Christian. It's all about them. Now, if they're coming in that spirit, then the hell with them. But if they're coming in the spirit of, I'm just going to use this, and I know he's not going to get it, but let me just use it for the sake of the sheep out there that are watching, so they could be fed and see how to deal with certain questions. Because the scriptures say the heart of the righteous studieth to answer. All right, it says, which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into. So even that gospel that we're teaching, the angels desire to look into that. But they were given a different office. All right. Now let's go from there to Isaiah chapter 6. And you're starting to see and understand where this is going. You have an angel or angels that actually have the gospel of salvation, that are opening the minds of the elect through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai Bashem Rakakudash. And then you have those whose minds are closed by other angels. Isaiah 6:9. It says, and he said, go and tell his people, hear ye. Who's this that the Lord speaking to? He's speaking to an angel. And he said, go and tell his people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat. So when the prophets, beginning with Yahushua, when Yahushua spoke and the prophets spoke, this gospel didn't enter into their mind and didn't benefit them. Why? Let's go to Hebrews 4:1. 2. For unto us was the gospel preached. Matter of fact, let me start at 1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, because that's what it's about. That's what salvation is about, entering into rest. Any of you should seem to come short of it, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So they didn't have the faith, that ingredient, to be mixed with it. That's why they scoff at it, make light of it, make jokes about it, because they don't see the severity and seriousness of it, because it wasn't given unto them, because it wasn't blessed from the throne of Yahweh Bashem El Shai to come down into those individuals, only unto the ones that it's meant to go into. Right? So it says, make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Because if they do see, if they do understand, then the Lord they will have to convert, meaning the word convert there is shawab in the Hebrew, which means to return, and the Lord will have to heal them and save them. But there's only a certain elect that are going to be saved of the nation of Israel. Now let's go from there to Romans 11:7. And you could read the whole book. It's bad. You know, it speaks about the 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. Romans 11:7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Because this is a curse that was put upon them. There was a handful of Israelites, spirits, that were given this message to be delivered, but a bulk of them weren't given this. You see? All right, so now, just moving along, let's go to 2 Corinthians 4 and 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Why? Because that was the decree that was given from the throne of the Most High upon these particular individuals, for them not to get it. And let the God of this world, Esau, and his witchcraft blind the ones that the Lord don't want. And let those spirits blind them that they can't get it. So you have certain angels that are set up to not allow people to get this message. Least the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. And if that happens, that means that they will be delivered. They will be saved. All right, so now let's go back to Revelation 14 and 6 again. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. So if it's not blessed from the throne of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, you're going to waste your time speaking to the individual. And to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Why? Because the Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of water. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So after the gospel is taught, after the ones that are supposed to be sealed are sealed, then comes what? The destruction. We could read about that in Revelation, the 7th chapter. Hurt not the earth till the servants of the Lord be sealed in their foreheads. It's the same message taught in different ways in different scriptures, but it all conveys the same thing. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So pretty much, that is the destruction. That is the penalty for not receiving or accepting the gospel. You see? And the ones that don't receive the gospel, they're going to take the chip, which is the mark of the beast. And they will be destroyed, because that will seal them. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, because this is going to be written. And this fire is going to burn for a long time. The fire from the nuclear missiles is going to burn for a long time here in America. You got to remember, you're looking at 5,000 square miles of burning elements, natural resources and all that, trees and, So this is going to be burning for a long time. Who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. And just like you have the elect that are sealed with the mark of the Lord, you also have the elect among the 2/3, of the nation of Israel that are going to receive the mark of Esau. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. So the ones that are to be saved, to receive this gospel, it's because it's ordained from the heavens, not of themselves. So with that, I pray that you brothers have learned something. Lord's will, I could come back with a part 3, and deal with the Israelite foreigners whom the gospel was taught to. And like I said, once again, the water for the comments and the scriptures. Salaki, I didn't get to the comments of the scriptures on the comment board. And like I said, I hope you brothers learned something. To the next time I say, Shalom.